With our heroes learning about the unfortunate truth involving Zamasu's intentions to kill Gowasu, Beerus made the decision to destroy Zamasu from the current timeline, and now Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks travel back into the future to see firsthand if anything had changed, but it seems as if everything had gotten much worse since they last arrived. What's going on, Dragon Ball Super fans? Welcome to my Dragon Ball Super Episode 60 breakdown review entitled Back to the Future, Goku Black's Identity Revealed, leading into next week's exciting episode of Dragon Ball Super Episode 61, in what was a very conclusive episode. Now, we do understand finally Goku Black's true identity. In case you guys have missed out the previous video, Goku Black had turned out to be someone that we knew all along, and with that said, I want you guys to keep in mind that this video will contain massive amounts of spoilers, so if you guys don't want anything ruined for you, simply fast forward the video, go watch the episode, come back so we can talk more Dragon Ball Super down in the comments. Don't cry in the comments about being spoiled by the thumbnail or any of that, because nothing is being said or shown that you guys don't already know. Also, be sure to check out the description down below for lots of goodies, updates, and contact information to where we can interact on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That way we can talk more Dragon Ball Super. And again, quick plugs before we begin. If you guys are new to this channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button for all latest in Dragon Ball news, updates, What If Battles, Xenoverse 2, and much more daily uploads and daily content for you all to watch and enjoy. So I thank you so much for supporting the channel greatly, as I always do. Be sure to spread the word about Unreal ENT Gaming. The translations were provided by Herms98 on Twitter, just in case you guys are wondering how I was able to pick up on the dialogue prior to the subs coming out. And with that being said, on to the episode now. For those who have been unaware as to what's been going on these last few days, I made a video talking about the true identity of Black Goku being revealed, and it turns out that yes, in fact, Black Goku is a part of the creation by Zamasu. Zamasu had made a wish using the Dragon Balls to embed his spirit and his philosophy into the vessel of Black. Thus, now we understand why exactly Black has the exact same demeanor and philosophy as Zamasu, because they are both one and the same. Now, this episode was basically a massive build-up leading towards episode 61 with a huge shock factor, especially towards the very ending when Black explains to Vegeta, Trunks, and Goku that he had used the Dragon Balls to switch bodies with Goku. Black's body is the real Goku's body. So I mean, that is, Black's body is the real Goku's body, but keep in mind, it's Zamasu's mind, it's Zamasu's philosophy. So indeed, the flesh, the bones, the skin that we see on Black is the actual Goku body, but the philosophy and the spirit behind Black's vessel is in fact Zamasu. So we actually see towards the very beginning how Beerus is getting a little fed up with everyone because nobody seems to believe him that Zamasu should be dead in any other timeline, because if a god kills another god, then they shouldn't exist in any other timeline. But Trunks keeps, hesitant on the fact that, he feels as if something's going on in the future, but he wants to make sure for himself because he knows about the history of the androids. And that's when we see little Trunks talk to big Trunks about what the androids are. He was very curious as to what he was talking about, and that's when we see big Trunks explain to little Trunks about how parallel timelines work, about how Android 18 was once evil and now she is good, how hence there were two different Android 18s, one was evil and the other one became Krillin's wife. So he explains to little Trunks that despite what happens in the future or in the past, things sometimes don't ultimately end up being the same. So he wants to go in his timeline just to be sure if everything that was said by Beerus is actually true. And we see how Beerus is getting really fed up on the fact that he knows that he believes he's right, but everyone else seems to think that he's wrong based on the Android saga and everything that happened back then. And despite all of that, Goku wants to go in ahead and tag along with Trunks just so they can go into the future. And that's when Goku asks Beerus if he wants to come along as well, but he says no. Keep in mind, Beerus says no, but even towards the very end of the first act of this episode, Beerus wants to go home. Beerus wants to go home, but Whis tells Beerus, I think it's best for us to wait here just to see what happens when Goku and his company come back and they explain to us what happened in the future. So as of right now, Beerus and Whis are currently going to be waiting on Goku to find out what exactly had happened in the future timeline. So I think that's a little bit of a foreshadowing, because Whis and Beerus don't have to be there, but Whis is picking up on something just to be sure, and he's telling Beerus, I think we should wait here just to see if they come back, just to see if they bring back some good news. If they bring back some good news, we can leave, and Beerus agrees. So we also see how, Bulma is insisting that she goes as well, and we see Goku looking for his sensu beans, and in fact, Bulma actually ends up giving Goku the sensu beans because, again, he forgot to take them. So Bulma gives him the sensu beans, and he puts them behind him. He puts them behind his shirt. Now, I don't know if Goku was ever used to doing that before. I asked you guys this in the review, and a lot of you guys said that Goku's not really used to putting the sensu beans, but behind him. He normally puts it on his side. So maybe maybe throughout all of this, maybe they fall out of his pocket, perhaps maybe, you know, something else occurs, maybe this is just a mere coincidence that he puts it behind him. But we also see Vegeta, and Vegeta's very annoyed that they can't save the future the way they want to, and Goku thinks it'll be okay. They'll sure to bring back some senzu beans this time, so Vegeta agrees to tag along. So Beerus and Whis is the only ones not going, and little Trunks wanted to go as well, but future Trunks explains to him how dangerous it is, and he explains to him about the androids, he explains about the future timeline, he explains about the cities being destroyed, and we see a little bit of a flashback going back and forth between little Trunks and big Trunks, how the present time just looks so beautiful and the future timeline is so destroyed. But then even after all of that happens, we see how everyone travels back into the future, and Goku's like all crammed up in there, and he tells Bulma, you don't have to go, you know, and Vegeta pokes fun at Bulma by saying, you think that she doesn't know that already? I mean, she's gonna come along either way. She's very stubborn. So they finally get to the future, and what I find very intriguing is when they arrive to the future, we see how Goku is all dizzy, he's all messed up, and he falls down to the ground, and he thumps his butt, and when he thumps his butt, we see how Zamasu stops pouring his tea. He looks at Black, Black looks at Zamasu, and Black has the biggest smile on his face because he knows that he feels that everyone has arrived again, and he tells Zamasu they have come, they're here. So finally, they pick up on, you know, everyone arriving, and they begin to take off. But meanwhile, we see how the Resistance has spotted Bulma and Trunks and everyone else, and we begin to go to the Resistance hideout where everyone is all, you know, down there, everyone is scared, and Mai seemed to have, you know, partaken in a heroic act that got her injured. And after Trunks gave her the senzu bean, she was feeling better, and she was very relieved that she saw Trunks yet again. And Bulma was actually pretty shocked that she saw Yajirobe, and Yajirobe was shocked that he saw Bulma. But even while everything was going on down there, even while everyone was at peace and trying to get to know each other and just trying to reminisce, we see how Vegeta just keeps staring up into the ceiling, and that's when we see Goku come up to him, and he's like, what's wrong? And Vegeta tells him Black is on his way, I can feel him. So that's when Goku and Trunks and Vegeta tell everyone, you guys have to stay here, we're gonna leave. So we see how Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks take off, and they bump right into Black and Zamasu, and it's very eerie because we saw how Black told Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks straight up how he's very happy that they are there, and Zamasu says, welcome back, Saiyans, and we see Black saying to everyone, thanks to all of you, I have grown so much stronger yet again. And we see how Vegeta begins to yell at him, and we see how confident Vegeta is that things won't go Black and Zamasu's way, but Black continues to tell Vegeta how much stronger he got, and we've never seen this before. I mean, how strong has he gotten is beyond us, but then he tells everyone that he used the Dragon Balls to switch bodies with Goku. Thus, we have Black in the flesh of Goku with, you know, Zamasu's philosophy and spirit behind him. So it's very eerie to know that, especially during the preview, because we see during the preview how Zamasu had snatched Gowasu's earring, and we see how the connection was made between Black and Zamasu. So we understand now that Black had used the Dragon Balls to take Goku's body. He switched bodies with Goku, but we also see that towards the very end of the episode, that at some point during the future, we see how Zamasu snatched the earrings away from Gowasu, killed Gowasu, and we see how everything came to be during that point in time. So towards the very end, of course, we also see how Black and Zamasu are kicking everyone's ass, very similar to Dragon Ball Super episode 57, because now we have everyone getting their butts whooped. Well, I'm talking about from Trunks to Vegeta to Goku, and then we have like this massive ball of energy, like this massive like planetary destruction ball energy heading right towards our heroes, and they don't seem to be able to stop it. And of course, this episode is going to be Zamasu's Zero Mortal Plan, and even the narrator is talking about how Black and Zamasu are a very tough combo, but Goku is very determined to beat them. And the episode title is the same as the previous, you know, reveal, except this time it's adding terrifying. So Zamasu's terrifying Zero Mortals plan. So it's gonna be an all-out bloodbath because we see everyone get their asses whooped. And of course, with that being said, we have episode 62 with Trunks' superpower unlocked, and we have Vegeta's fierce battle during episode 63. So as I said before in last week's episode, I knew that Vegeta was not going to get the better of Black. The way they fought was very, very stale. It was about maybe like, I would say 60 seconds because Black was able to push Vegeta back a little bit before they both powered down. And we see how Black begins to explain himself to everyone about his philosophy, about his body. And in next week's episode, we get to see how not only Trunks got into a headlock by Black, but we also see Vegeta get beat down, we see Goku getting beat down, but Goku is determined to put an end to this because he realized that these two are very dangerous. But you also have to ask yourself, what about Beerus and Whis, right? How long are they gonna wait until they have to go into the future for themselves to find out what is going on? I mean, I think more now than ever, they ought to go just to see what's going on, because can you imagine Zamasu's reaction? Can you imagine Black's reaction if Beerus and Whis ended up going to the future just to simply observe? Again, keep in mind, we all want to see Beerus fight, but does he have to? Not necessarily, especially if he's going to be there to pretty much be a spectator and root Goku on, because then again, unless he's confronted by Zamasu and Black, then I think now more than ever, he would have more than a reason to step in and fight. But we see how the three of them are in danger, and we see how all three of them this time, not just Trunks and Goku, all three, Vegeta, Trunks, and Goku, are going all out against Black and Zamasu. Black is transformed, Zamasu has probably hit his peak, but either way, he's immortal. So we realize now that even with 2 Super Saiyan Blues and a Super Saiyan 2, our heroes are still in trouble, because in this episode, I picked up several things. I noticed that Beerus and Whis, they kind of, at least Whis hints that they ought to stay there just to be sure. And we see how, you know, there's not much to this episode, but we also get to see Bulma in the background. She's observing with her binoculars. We see Maya's there. She's just hanging out. So you have to ask yourself, like, what is really going on here? And it looks like our heroes are going to lose yet again towards the end of the preview, because we see how this massive energy ball just engulfs all three of them as they go down into the ground, and they weren't able to do much after that. But then again, our heroes are not down for the count permanently. They're still going to be in this fight, but I really wonder who's going to be the one to make the save here, because keep in mind, Vegeta even told Black that he himself wants to defeat Black, not for the namesake of himself, but he wants to do it for his son. He wants to do it for his future. So finally, Vegeta is fighting for something other than himself. He wants to defeat Black in the namesake of his son and his future, because Vegeta sees the struggle that his son has went through, and he sees all the things Trunks had gone through, so he wants to help him out with that. So that's courageous if you ask me, because now Vegeta wants to defeat Black in the namesake of Trunks. But let me know your overall thoughts down below, guys. What are your overall thoughts on next week's episode? What are your overall thoughts on this episode as well? Now that Black has switched bodies with Goku using the Dragon Balls, why do you think that is? Which version of Goku did he do it with? And let me know your overall thoughts on the coming episodes so far. Thank you all for watching, guys. Once again, if you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more daily content. If you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to punch that like button square in the face, guys. Leave your thoughts down below. Tune in for the prediction video, and I'll be seeing you all in the comment section below. Take it easy, guys. Peace.